Something needs to change, but is that the manager? Is that the playing staff? Is it the background staff? Is it the ownership? We're going to speak about that in today's episode. Obviously, I am talking about Chelsea, and before we get into it, welcome back to another episode of The Best of London. It is episode 10 with me and my friend Joel Beya. Joel, what's happening, mate?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just in my last little bits of training now, about to go out to America.
I was going to say, even since last week, you've lost a bit of weight. Before I forget, today is the day we read out the competition winner.
Yes, because we already did.
Yeah.
But they never came forward in the comments. So we're going to read it out today. And I'm guessing you're going to be a Chelsea fan. But if you're not, let us know and we'll get a shirt sent over to you. So we will do that at the end of this video. Stay tuned for that. Yeah. Joel, there's only one place to start, mate. I've been really down the last couple of days. Things are just not going to plan at all at Chelsea. And I will prelude any conversation around the management by just accepting and beating you lot to it in the comment section, but still get your comments in, that we understand it is the ownership. The ownership has done a pitiful job so far since taking over at Stamford Bridge. You can level at me the amount of money spent, and it's valid. It's a good point to make. But at the end of the day, money spent and money spent well are very, very different things. The ownership this season have tasked Mauricio Pochettino with a very hard job. We haven't got a number 9. We've relied on Christopher Nkunku coming in and being the man to provide our goals, even though number 9 is somewhat of a secondary or even a third position for him over the last few seasons. A couple of seasons which, by Nkunku's standards, have been injury plagued. We've then let Amanda Broha go out on loan to Fulham, where he's still not getting game time. And was he prolific? No, but he was our main recognised number 9 at the club, and we've left him. There's been so many failures within this season, but at the end of the day, I am just baffled by what's going on at the pitch at the moment. We're seeing no progression, no real style of play. And as we enter the final 10 games or so of this season, the prospects are looking very bleak for Chelsea Football Club right now. So from a managerial point of view, Joel, what do you make of it?
It's tough because, like I said, I've always been a Poch fan. You know, I've said it many times. I think he carries presence. I think, you know, he's kind of like maybe what you need at the moment, where the bosses make the call and you got people that can like manage the rest of the team. You could see he did something really similar when you had Daniel Levy there. Not always the most freedom, but he did a good job with what he had. And it's sad because at the end of the day, whether it's his fault or it's not his fault, he's still there to get results. Yeah. And the results are just not coming. You know, we spoke before the Brentford game, and I just thought, ooh, this could be a tough one, you know, which is the complete opposite with Arsenal. Like, I'm looking at these fixtures now. I haven't been in this situation in years, by the way, where you look and you go, I was saying on Viable 5 with Rio and Steve the other day, Sheffield United, 4-0 minimum, minimum. And I was like that confident, minimum. You're
at a point where it's almost a disappointment if you don't do goals against them.
Yeah, and Brentford, we've got next. I'm just thinking, 2-0?
You're going to... More.
3-1.
More, you're going to smash them.
I'm disappointed when we concede nowadays. That's what it's like. And, you know, I've always said I think you've got great potential with the players. But you're probably going to have to wait another 2 years till they mature to where you want them to be. You know, I really do think you've got a good young crop of players. But at the end of the day, there's two things. They're not ready yet. Too much. Well, I'm saying there's more than two things. Too much. They're not ready yet. Too much done too quickly. And I also think that with this kind of situation that Chelsea's in, it's easy for them to down tools. Yep. Because if you're some of these players that are not playing, you're going, I don't fancy this manager anymore. Anyway, you know what? Guess what? He'll be out in a few months. So why should I give 100%? Why? You know, it's the same. People think because you're playing football that it's not different from maybe a 9 to 5 or, you know, something that we do in a regular day. So it might have to be time for him to be moved on.
Do you think Chelsea are any better this season than we were last season? Because as a fan who watches with a close eye, I can say that there's been better moments this season.
I agree.
But then it sort of relays my mind back to the fact that we've definitely lowered our benchmark a lot. Because when I tell you about the best moments this season, none of them really came in wins, mate. I loved the Arsenal game. Spurs, yeah, but again, like, listen, the word bottling has gone about a lot recently, right? We definitely weren't deserving of that title in the cup final against Liverpool. Had we have failed to beat Spurs in that match, we'd have bottled that. We didn't. We beat them 4-1. But when they went down to 9 men, and when they were playing a high line with 9 men and still men flooding forward to attack, had we have failed to beat Spurs in that match, we would have been bottling it, really. So that was a deserved victory, right? We beat Aston Villa in the cup. That was a pretty good win, 3-1. We played some good football in that game. Mm-hmm. But I'm sort of looking at the 2 results against Man City. I'm sort of looking at the result against Arsenal. And by the way, we've got you boys coming up, man. And I would say I'm shitting myself for that one, but I'm not. I just separated.
I always think when it comes to Chelsea, Arsenal, I don't want to say form completely goes out the window, but there's a little bit more to play for, I believe.
It's been a while since I beat you, though. I think it was that Reece James Romelu Lukaku game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
2-0.
And the reality is, I do look, and I am very confident, though. I have to say, I expect to win. I'm looking at us for the rest of the season, and I'm like, Etihad, we've got at the end of the month against Man City. I'm hoping to get a draw there, if I'm honest with you. I think we can go there and get a draw. I actually think there's a chance we could go there and win, or Liverpool. I think we're the only 2 teams that could go there and beat them. But a draw, definitely, I think we should go out there and get. And whether that will be enough for us or not, I don't know. But when it comes to Chelsea, I am expecting for us to win. And it's not in an arrogant way. It's just the way, if you look at the 2 teams, it's like, even if you weren't a fan of the 2 teams and you look at the trajectories, especially this season, you go, this is it. Look at the Brentford game.
Yeah. I mean, mate, listen, I can reassure you that it doesn't sound arrogant for you to say that. I think we're expecting to get turned over.
Really?
I think yeah, I am anyway.
I love talking to you guys because I get a sensible insight from your fan base without it. Because, this show's really nice. It's not toxic. So it's really interesting when I hear you say things like that.
Do you know what's mad? I feel like this is the least sensible I've been recently. And I think that's because, I've been holding back for a long, long time, man. I've said this before, but I feel that as a creator in the Chelsea space and as someone who, I read my comments, I see the people that interact with my videos. There's a lot of guys that have been here from the start, sort of thing, right? And I feel a responsibility to not be like, let me just do something for clicks because I know the AdSense is going to be better this month. But the straw that broke the camel's back was definitely the Brentford match for me. The problem is, I asked the question, are we seeing any better this season than we were last season? But we're 1 point better off this season than we were last season.
At this exact time?
At this stage, yeah. 1 point better off. We've scored nearly double the amount of goals. We've conceded nearly double the amount of goals as well. So our goal difference is no better than last season. Realistically, apart from us being in at times more exciting games, when you spread it across an entire 27 games or so, we're no better off this season than we were last season. What you got to factor in for last season is we did have Thomas Tuchel there at the start, and he did get us a couple of wins that, in hindsight, those sort of games we probably wouldn't have got wins in. So you can factor that in. Now you could look at the fact that we spent a lot more money, but you could look at the fact, couldn't you? We've lost Kante. He was a pivotal part. He didn't play last season. He played about 5-6 games. He was injured the whole season. We've had Reece James out the whole season. We had him out the whole of last season. Last season, we started off at least, even until the quarterfinals, in the Champions League. We had Champions League football last season. We don't have that this season. I get you can look at, you played 3 games in 8 days and there's bound to be a bit of burnout. Mate, we played 1 game a week. Going into the season, I said, right, Poch is renowned for having really, really good, stringent fitness tests throughout the season. The Gayson test, which is the bleep test on steroids. It's a really, really strict fitness test. Poch is renowned for doing that of his players. He will have this side fit. The fact that we're playing once every 7 days is going to massively benefit us. It's going to benefit us in our freshness, in our legs on the pitch. But not only that, we're going to have an extra 2 days on you boys and everyone else that we were hoping to be competing with to get things right on the training ground. So the fact that we're still now not seeing patterns of play is so concerning, man. And for me, it's a hard one because I'm at a point now where I'm going, if there was certain X factor names on the market that I would, really, really feel, okay, they want to come to Chelsea, they could come in and do a job, I'll be going, get him in right now. Unfortunately, because of the names on the market, and we will go through them because I've got the bookmakers' favourites for the job
managers,
here.
right?
The managers, the managers on the market that could take over from Poch. I'm sort of in a position where I'm not so... I understand the underlying factors enough for me to not go, right, he has got to go and anyone will do. I'm not saying, go and pluck Sean Dyche out of Everton, anyone will do. David Moyes out of West Ham. What I'm saying is there's a couple of names on this list that I'm saying, yeah, definitely I'd get him in ahead of Pochettino. So before I start going through the list of potential managers or who the bookmakers are giving odds on, any last thoughts to sway me? Because you were someone that definitely pre-season had me very excited for the Pochettino era.
It's tough, man, because what you're hoping for, what I'm saying if I say Poch in, is he would have to stay till the end of the season.
Yep.
And he would also have to at least the beginning or in between Christmas and the start of the season. Then that also means you need to give him more money.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to look at what he's done with the money that he's got or the players that have been bought for him, however it works. And I'm like, I don't know if he can get the tune he needs from these current players. Does he end the season strong? And does he start the next season well? Can I see it? I can't, really. And unfortunately, because of the results, it means you're probably going to have to move him on and get a fresh voice for those players.
I will just say, though, I drew a short list up of what I perceive to be Pochettino signings. And even then, they're probably not Pochettino signings. But what I'm talking about is signings that came in after Pochettino had started working with the squad. So probably after pre-season or during, right? In that time, you've got Moises Caicedo. The board, and you'll know this, right? The board would not have gone to Pochettino and said, how much do you want us to spend on Caicedo? They would have gone to Pochettino and said, do you want Caicedo? Can you use Caicedo? We want to get him. Will you use him? He'd have said, yeah. Now, Pochettino is probably not going to have gone, yeah, but don't spend more than 70 mil on him. No. You ain't talking to your boss like that, telling them what to do, the businessman. So if you look at Caicedo, people would disagree, man. For the price point, no, I accept it. If you take away the price, has Moises Caicedo been a success coming into Chelsea? As a 21-year-old when he was brought, coming out of Brighton, coming into Chelsea and being an important player in our midfield who I believe goes massively under the radar, I'm going to say he's been a success coming in. So I'm going to say straight away that's a Pochettino signing that I don't argue with. The fee, definitely. The performances, not so much. Axel Disasi is hit and miss, but I remember...
I like him,
and I remember when Rudiger first came, he was hit and miss for that first season. He could come good, Axel Disasi.
I like him.
Pochettino played a key role in keeping Levi Colwill at the club. Liverpool wanted him, man. He may well have gone, but Pochettino gave him the reassurance. When we look at the other signings he's brought in, Romeo Lavia, I think he's going to be good. We haven't seen any of him so far. Cole Palmer, player of the season.
Bad man.
Palmer. Exactly. So and Petrovic, was it a Poch signing? I don't know. But what I'm saying is the actual Poch signings reflect way better, if we call them Poch signings, than the Bowley signings. The Bowley signings, we can go Koulibaly, Kukurea. You know what I mean? There's some howlers in there. But the Poch ones aren't that bad. So I will give him credit on that. But I just think that if we leave it until next season, are we going to have nothing to play for before we make the change?
Yeah.
That's the real problem.
It's true.
So let's go through some of the bookmakers' favourites. Hansi Flick, 3-1.
Hansi Flick, I think he's one of those managers, very, very underrated. And I say underrated, you have like the commercial superstars, the Peps, the Klopps, Ancelotti, There's managers in and around where I just think, amazing, but maybe because you've been in international football for a while or whatever it is, you kind of sometimes like go under the radar. I think he's one of them. Let's not forget, he's won the champs, a lot of experience as manager and assistant manager at Bayern.
Was he manager of Bayern when they won the Champions League?
I'm sure he was, wasn't he?
I don't think he was.
Was he not?
I think he was assistant manager.
Was he assistant?
Who would have been the manager?
You got me guessing now. Pretty sure he was. In 2019-2020 season.
Who was their manager?
Yeah, 1920 was their manager.
He was, innit?
So he won the Champions League with
He
him?
won a treble with him, didn't he?
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. You're right. Yeah.
See, this is what I mean by he's underrated. But
He is underrated. Yeah.
I don't know if you want to.
No. Let's go with it. I didn't know. I don't care.
No. He really is like he's one of them.
Yeah.
To me, he reminds me of another one who I don't think you haven't put on the list, and I don't think he'll go Chelsea. But Didier Deschamps.
Yeah.
Like I just think we talk about all these guys. I just think these guys are like winners.
He was assistant manager for the World Cup win, wasn't he?
Who?
Flick. Was he assistant manager? Or when they got to the
remember.
final, he was assistant manager. He was
remember.
assistant manager to Joachim Low for quite a while.
But
so he's been there and around.
He's been there and around, and he's got the trophies to back it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been in and around the German scene. He's got, like...
Shall I give you my main concern?
What?
You can date back about 25 years to when he has been in managerial roles, whether it be as a first team coach or as an assistant manager.
Right.
In those 25 years, he's actually just spent 5 years as a first team manager. 3 of those years came for Germany, so obviously a national side.
Yeah, he did Bayern as well. And he did what he had to do there.
Yeah.
He's been an understudy. Sometimes I think having the experience on both spectrums holds you in good stead.
Yeah. You know what I like about him?
What?
His age.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I want another young manager.
60?
I wouldn't mind someone coming
there.
in there, an older head coming in there,
Yeah.
just understands things as well. I'm not going to claim to know enough about his time at Bayern, and actually, when you look at Bayern, it looks like the board are pretty well. Yeah.
Very successful.
But I'm not going to claim to know that much about him to go right. He's a yes man, an ownership man, someone that's not going to call out the short.
Like people did Ragnick.
Yeah.
Remember all of a sudden when Ragnick was coming, everyone's going on as if they knew him for a while. Yeah, he's good, him. Yeah. Philosophy. Yeah, he's good.
First game under Rangnick, I remember they played quite well, and I thought, Saint's cooking here, and then it was just like, oh my God.
Get him out of here.
Yeah, he's moving upstairs. No one's ever heard of him again since.
But to be fair, what he did, respect to him, because at the end of the season, he could have kept that upstairs job or the consultancy thing, and he scrapped it.
Yeah. I think he went managed Austria or somewhere.
Yeah.
He's not on the list. I don't want him. Out of 10, where would you rate that? In terms of 10 being perfect appointment?
I think that's a big move.
Really?
I think, but the problem is he's a good manager, but does he fit your club? So when I'm ranking, I'm not just ranking him as a manager, I'm ranking the situation at your club. And for him, I put that down as a 3 out of 10, 10 being the highest. Because this is a man that has come into organised structures. He's won and been part of, Germany, Bayern, Hoffenheim. These places are well structured. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And right about now, Chelsea Football Club isn't well structured. In fact, out of the big clubs in Europe, it's one of the least well structured clubs.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's down there with United.
I don't want to put
United.
words in your mouth here, and I won't take offence.
Go on.
Do you think he could get a better job? Do you think if you're Flick and you're sitting there, you're thinking, I want to take this job? Or do you think you're thinking, do you know what? Hold out, more vacancies will come up.
Yeah,
There's a potential Man United job that might come up. Not saying he'd be a favourite for that. Do you think...
But the funny thing is, they would need to consider someone like that.
Yeah.
Man United could not be snubbing their nose at Flick. Top manager. So for me, I reckon, is Man United more organised than you at the moment? I mean, we'll see with Sir Jim what happens, but it's all around the same at the moment, isn't it? But I think if Alonso chooses to not go Bayern, when he goes Liverpool, or I think Real will be too soon, but if he goes Liverpool, for example, why can't he go back there?
Yeah.
You know,
it's happened before.
Yeah, that for me there is like, it's an easy one over there.
Next favourite with the bookmakers, as I'm seeing, Jose Mourinho. Where do you think Jose's landing? Do you think the fairy tale return could be on?
I think that is definitely on the books. I think the problem is I wouldn't be surprised if we got a notification today saying Jose Mourinho's back at Chelsea. I won't be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. What you're thinking is, let's make more videos.
Do you have any inside scoop? If anyone hasn't seen it, I'll link it in the description to this. The Jose Mourinho interview. It was a big hitter. It done a lot of numbers, and it's a very, very good interview. Listen, I've always been sold on Jose, and I've always loved Jose. He's got that nostalgia vibe for me. That was a pivotal part of my childhood. Mourinho coming in, and
love him.
But even just watching, I watched through that interview with a keen eye. You know, I'm waiting for him to mention Chelsea. He mentioned Man United a couple of times more than Chelsea. That hurt me a bit. But
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't read into that too much, man.
Nah, he still showed a lot of charisma, a lot of character.
Yeah.
I think he's still got the charm.
I think he can still do it. I think he can win you a few cups and stuff like that. I just think I love Joe. He's my favourite manager ever. I say it all the time. I don't care what anyone says. He is my guy. Just like you love when he came into the league. Even as an Arsenal fan, he added that excitement, you know. But I just think in the long term, again, with where Chelsea are, I don't think he copes well in the current situations. I think he copes even. I think he does worse than Flick in the long term, because he's not gonna want things all over the gaff.
No,
he's the type that might come out, and he's a bit like Conte. If he's not happy, you'll start seeing it at press conferences, and it can get a little bit murky. So I'll give it a 2 out of 10 if he comes.
He did work under the Glazers. That was a bit chaotic. Didn't really fall out with them, did he? Didn't seem that way.
I mean, he was trying to be a little bit more quiet, but once they picked Pogba over him.
You're you're a fan of Pochettino, regardless of his time at Chelsea. You've got a lot of high praise for him. Let me ask you a question. We're thinking about doing a little a charity football match soon, aren't we? Right?
Oh, we are, with a few content creators that you see on the 5 channel that come in, and obviously the likes of Joey and more names.
So let me ask you a question, right?
Yeah.
Our team going 2-0 down at half time.
Yeah. Why is Archie in the back laughing?
Our team going 2-0 down at half time, right? We've managed to get a star-studded managers come in and take care of us for this match.
There's only one, Jose.
Whose words hold more value to you at half time?
Jose.
Mauricio Pochettino's or Jose Mourinho's?
Jose Mourinho.
Jose Mourinho's.
The answer is always,
if that
give me
team,
anything, Jose.
If that team come back to win that match 3-2, and all of a sudden we look around and we think, boys, we got something here. Maybe we'll enter the pre-rounds of the FA Cup or something like that, and we're in a knockout stage, or we're in a final. Who's going to have a better chance of winning us that final, Poch or Jose Mourinho? Jose.
I back Jose. Yeah. When he lost the Europa League last year, I was shocked. I was like, he lost? Do you know what I mean? Like, Jose, bro.
Yeah,
like,
just about lost it as
yeah,
well.
but
So here's the final question on that subject. A 38-game season, Premier League season, from the start, who finishes higher with this Chelsea side, Jose Mourinho or Mauricio Pochettino?
Jose.
So why is there a question over it? Well, if buts and maybes are... If he falls out with the ball, brilliant. Let's let him get to that. It'll be 2 years. It'll be 2 years. I'd rather have 2 years.
Will it be 2 years? You know what I mean? It could be 18 months.
Could be less.
It could be less. Yeah,
could be 2 minutes.
That's the thing with Jose. He's such a maverick, and you don't want him to lose that. You want him in a way to express his unhappiness, because otherwise he becomes even more unhappy. So I just think it's like, sometimes I just look at Jose and I go, with a man that's proven with so much success, why don't everyone just listen to him?
So we're basically saying that because of the characters and because of the profiles of both managers and the fact that realistically they're not going to stand for too much shit and too much messing about, that potentially rules out, in this hypothetical world, what we're doing here, Hansi Flick, Jose Mourinho. So then we look at the next 3.
And Deschamps as well. I'm just throwing him in the mix.
Also, you get Zidane's name mentioned on all these bookies odds.
Not going there.
If you're a bookmaker, stop. You're just taking people's money. Stop putting odds on Zidane. Zidane doesn't want to go anywhere but France or Real Madrid. I'd be surprised if PSG even tempted him.
No, and France, Real Madrid, PSG, and maybe one day
City.
Juve,
yeah.
And City. I think City would also be appealing to him.
At 6-1, similar sort of odds that they're giving on Jose Mourinho. We've got Robert De Zerbi.
I think he would go.
I don't think he would.
I think he goes.
I wouldn't want him.
See, that's what you should have said the first time. I think he goes.
Yeah, but do you know what? Poch had Tottenham links, but he wasn't really like a Chelsea hater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was humbled by Chelsea, if anything, whenever
because he's a
played
classy manager.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but well, I don't want to throw the opposite of De Zerbi then, but my God, that man does not like Chelsea.
Yeah, well, I think it's different though, because I do still look at the size of your club. I could be wrong, by the way. I'm not saying what I'm saying is gospel, guys, but I'm just talking to you from how I see it. I think Chelsea is a big club, man. Like Brighton, with all respect, really good, nice, well-run club. He's done an amazing job over there. But to have the chance to bring Chelsea back to the top, it's why these guys keep going to United.
Yeah,
it's why you see a Ten Hag know what it's like at United, and he just goes, I got to try. That's why. And I think
he's got experience working with Cucurella, Caicedo, Mikhailo Mudryk.
And it's different because some managers, they want to be put on the spotlight. They want to go, all right, cool, let's go for it. Let me try. Because, like, I'm not saying he can't go to another big Premier League club, but where else is he going anytime soon? If you're looking at the big six, where?
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe when Pep moves on at some point, but that's so far in the future.
You just don't know. Yeah. Look at last season; he's the best manager in the world. This season, people go.
Do you think Liverpool could target him if they don't get Xabi Alonso?
I think they could. Yeah. I think they could. Do they want him?
I think that'd be in the back of his mind. I don't think he likes Chelsea. I don't think he likes the way that we've done business, taking a few of his players off him, and I just not only that, background staff as well. I also think that whether we're talking Chris Hughton, whether we're talking De Zerbi, whether we're talking Graham Potter, the infrastructure is so good at Brighton that you're gonna have praise put upon you as a result of that, and some people might not look close enough to realise it's a result of that. That's what I would say. I think the infrastructure is so good that managers are set up to succeed there. Let's quickly touch on the final two, and just in case I didn't get across there, I don't really want De Zerbi. One man I don't know whether I want to say impressed or intrigued by. But he's handed you boys a loss in the not too distant past. Ruben Amorim at Sporting.
I can't act like I know too much about him.
I don't.
No. I know he was on your list.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, like I can't really come in and go, oh yeah, he's going to be amazing. That's probably one for culture cams, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Highest buyout clause in European football. His contract.
Football's just changing, isn't it? Like I don't really know what that means anymore. Like it's like.
If you're Chelsea, it don't mean nothing.
Yeah. It's true.
We like lads.
I have to be really honest. I don't know enough about him for me to be like, oh yeah, bring him in. I don't know.
I'll tell you one thing. Listen, it depends whether you're into XG and whatnot. His team, Sporting, are a side that massively outperform their XG in their league. And you could actually say the same thing for Pochettino's best years at Spurs. They outperform their XG. I think that when you come into a side that aren't clinical and underperform their XG, I don't know whether it's going to be able to translate. The last one is Michel Sanchez, who's obviously the Girona manager. They're doing absolute wonders. At one point, it looked like they were in a title race, and they're still only about
for a long time,
6 points behind.
I was sending screenshots to my mate Droopy every week when they would get results. Oh, look at this, and I'll send them the league table. But I think their infrastructure is really good as well.
It is. It's sense to the Man City setup, isn't it?
Kind of setup, isn't it? So
his brother has some sort of involvement in that.
I don't know, man. But with him again, it's like when you're going from such a good structure, how do you go and work well at Chelsea? I think there's only a few managers that can cope with it.
I doubt there's many Girona fans watching, so I don't think I'm going to offend too many. But could we be at risk if we did go that route of appointing a one-season wonder?
Yeah, of course. But that's football for you. People want Alonso at the moment. Do we know if he's a long-term manager? It's like, oh yeah, brilliant. He's going to win. He's going to win the Bundesliga. Like, I think he's a bigger name, innit? And obviously he's got a big playing CV.
Yeah,
huge playing CV.
Dominating in Portugal, like Amorim, and surprising a lot in Spain. It's probably quite different to breaking the Bayern Munich stronghold. Like that's a real commendable job there. I don't think he's even worth talking about because he'll have his eyes set on bigger things. I think when we're looking at that list, I think it's easy to know where I'm going with it. I'd quite like Jose back, and I think
great for the league.
Yeah, it is. It's a storyline there, and also I just think that the last three managers, not that I know all the most about Amorim and Sanchez, but the last three managers strike me as guys that are they're gonna be easy for the board to handle, and I don't know whether the route of getting rid of Tuchel, Graham Potter, Frank Lampard, Pochettino, all three of those being easy for the board to handle. I don't know whether that route is the one I want to go down now. So I'm thinking a combative manager might be a good thing for us, and maybe it might help.
Flick or Jose.
Yeah, help them learn a few things. So Flick or Jose are gonna be the two that I am gonna go with on this one. I think. Let's quickly pick out a winner. Because we did pick out a winner before, but no one came forward to claim the prize. So if that was you, unfortunately, you are too late now. But let's have a little look. Let's go in here, random little scroll up and down, eyes closed.
He's being fair, by the way. I'm looking.
Okay. Thomas Workman 2090. He would like a retro Chelsea kit, and I'm going to get you a retro Chelsea kit. So we get that sorted for him. Myself and Joel, big love to everyone that's been getting in the comments, leaving their feedback. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know who would be your pick as the next Chelsea manager. Or am I wrong? Does Mauricio Pochettino need more time? Do we need to give him to next season? Do we need to potentially ruin another season before we appoint someone new? I don't know. No. I'm not. Listen. I'm not trying to sway them. They're all right. Listen, subscribe if you're not already. Smash like on the video. A like on the video, I should say. Joel's Instagram is linked in the description. Go over there and follow him. He's interacting with people on there all the time. We will see you all in the next one.